I mean, there is an Australian solution. I just don't happen to know what it is. But I bet you this stuff is part of it. And I bet you a real part of it is talking to your decision makers. And there's a woman here, did you all write down her name? Donna Buckley? Donna Buckley is a probation officer in Kamloops, BC. She is a very good probation officer because she stands up in front of the judge and says, Judge, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I've been a probation officer for these 35 years. I took a few courses in fetal alcohol, and I'm the probation officer for this person who's got 25 charges for just nonsense. And she says, all these things we've been doing aren't working. I'd like to try something different. And you know, every judge I've met, if you've got something that may work, they're listening. And what she does, she's kind of feeling her way into new territory. And if you want to take a look at her card, it's Donna Buckley. If you were to write to Kamloops, BC, Donna Buckley probation, it would get to her. But she's a very bright woman, and she's got to the point, after being a probation officer for 35 years, that it ain't working what we've been doing. And she's just one example. And I've got a bunch of reference materials here that you might want to take a look at. Did you get this handout about the Arbias conference in September of '08? Somebody take some of these and scan them or something? Somebody? Okay. Here's a quick story about what was a fabulous success story. The YMCA in Hamilton, Ontario, a big steel-making town, they wanted to have a conference about fetal alcohol. They literally had bake sales. They were going to hold this little conference in the basement. And they've been planning it for 3 years. Well, about a month before the conference, somebody told somebody who told somebody who told Ethel Blondin, Minister of Labor, federal government. Ethel Blondin has a sister with an FAS child. On the phone, all of a sudden, people from Ottawa are flying in. The conference is now in the Hamilton Convention Center, thank you very much. Speakers all of a sudden are getting paid $2,500 to come. All of a sudden, the federal government discovered fetal alcohol because someone told someone who is a decision maker. And the other thing I want you to do is I want you to take better notes. You got to write it down. I'm a trial lawyer. You come into my courtroom and you haven't written it down, I will humiliate you. There's a rule. If you don't write it down, it didn't happen. And at the end of the day, if you write it down, I believe in the system. Somebody will see your note and say, maybe this person should see a neuropsych. Maybe this person should get a family workup. Yes?
You talked before about modelling on the AIDS campaign. I'm a national manager for advocacy and research, and we're looking at lobbying government for a national campaign on child protection. And two of the areas we're looking at is latent alcohol for pregnant women, and also looking at young children when mothers are arrested and so I hope that we can name on that website so that we can join together and we can collaborate across organisations to lobby government on latent alcohol as we start.
Remember that website, FADU? Go to that website. This is for you, ma'am. Go to the PCAP program. PCAP is a one-to-one mentoring program started by the University of Washington. What they do is they find a woman who's at risk, who's had a fetal alcohol child, who's had the child taken away from her, right? Lowest of the lows. They give her some help. They give her some courses. She's dry for 3 or 4 years. And then they train her, and she becomes a one-to-one mentor for another woman at risk. Are you listening to this? This is the good part. The University of Washington paid for this program for 4 or 5 or 6 years. And then the city of Seattle said, we'll pay for it. Each one-to-one PCAP worker saves the city of Seattle $7,000 a year in services. It's on the website. It's called PCAP, and it's a fabulously successful program. Is that any help at all? Okay. Does that help you at all, ma'am?
Yes, if people can collaborate, organisations collaborate and lobby government about that.
The issue for me is in this room, there is such amount of collective intelligence and collective smarts and know-how. And I think that this whole networking thing, do you know why nobody here gets arrested? 2 reasons. One is you got a little voice in the back of your head that says, David, don't do this if the Law Society finds out. Right? And the second reason is, David, get back in the truck. David, get back. It ain't worth it. I have friends, as do you. These kids don't have friends. Okay? They don't have that little voice. And their mothers don't have friends and don't have that little voice. They are very disconnected. And what she's talking about is networking. And it's the networking. You build a stronger community. You've heard the term umbrella services. In Canada, the new buzzword is wraparound services. Okay, the issue is this whole networking business. You don't think the guys that run the banks and the big companies in Australia are networking every minute of their life? You got to get smart. Now, here's the other thing. How many men in the room? Okay, 10? Are there 10? Okay, that's unusual. Most of the time I do these presentations, if there's about this many women, there's 3 men. This is a huge difference here. So that's really a big improvement to see the male bodies here. At the end of the day, it's going to take a lot of people to do this. Does that make any sense? Are we done, Joel? Thank you very much.